Karen screamed right in my face that I was violating community law. Right before the officer told her to step away from my gate. She stood there red-faced and sweating, clutching that clipboard like it was a badge of God. The HOA logo on her polo shirt practically glowed with self-importance. 2 patrol cars idled behind her, lights painting my driveway like a crime scene. She had called the cops because I refused to let her inspect my private pool. Funny thing, I was never in her HOA, never signed a single paper. I simply handed the officer the original 1978 deed. The look on her face when he read the owner's name was pure gold. She had no idea the pool, the road, and half the land her little empire claimed were never hers. And that single moment turned everything upside down. I'm not the kind of guy who hunts trouble. 20 years fixing jets for the military taught me one rule. Respect what's yours and never touch what isn't. So when I retired, I bought these quiet 10 acres with the farmhouse and the pool my dad built by hand. That pool wasn't just concrete. It was his freedom poured one bucket at a time. Mornings here used to smell like fresh-cut grass and coffee. No traffic, no meetings, just peace. Then one sunny Saturday, the welcome committee strolled through my open gate. 3 clipboards and fake smiles leading the pack. The woman in front tilted her head and said sweetly, "Everyone in this subdivision follows our rules." I wiped grease off my hands and answered, "Ma'am, this land predates your bylaws by decades." Her smile tightened like a cheap belt. They left without another word, but the glares said war was coming. That night, a polite little note appeared on my mailbox. Unauthorized pool structure requires immediate HOA inspection. I laughed once, then felt that cold knot in my gut. This wasn't about safety. It was about control. Karen loved control the way some people love oxygen. The letters started arriving like clockwork. $50 fines for fence height, mailbox color, even the shade of my deck paint. Neighbors who once waved suddenly crossed the street. Someone lost my borrowed ladder forever. Karen's SUV began parking just close enough to watch. Her phone camera always ready for the next violation photo. Then came the drones humming overhead at dusk. Little red lights blinking like evil eyes. I installed my own cameras and kept quiet. Let them dig their hole deeper. One afternoon, I caught 2 HOA guys in reflective vests trying to cut my back gate lock. I saved the footage and smiled for the first time in weeks. They thought my silence meant weakness. They were wrong. Sunday morning, the metallic snap of bolt cutters woke me. Karen herself crouched at my pool gate in broad daylight, 2 board members filming. She looked up with that rehearsed smile and announced, "Emergency safety inspection." I stepped out calm and said, "You're trespassing on recorded video, Karen." Her face flushed purple. She hissed, "You can't hide behind some dusty old paper forever." I held up my phone and answered, "Good thing I read fine print better than you." The officers arrived minutes later because she had already called them again. She pointed at me and screamed, "He's obstructing community oversight." The older cop took one look at my deed and told her to step back. He said the magic words, "This parcel was never under your jurisdiction." Karen's mouth opened but nothing came out. That was the first crack in her little kingdom. But the real earthquake was still coming. My lawyer dug deeper into county records during the audit. Turns out the HOA office building, their meeting hall, and their precious community pool sat on land still titled to my father. They had been squatting on my property for 30 years, collecting dues on ground they never owned. Karen stood frozen at the next site visit while the county commissioner read the findings aloud. Her clipboard shook in her hands. She tried one last desperate lie. "We were told everything was transferred properly." The sheriff just smiled and said, "Ma'am, paperwork doesn't lie the way you do." The injunction came down the same week. All HOA operations frozen. Accounts audited. The local news ran the headline, "County dissolves HOA over fraudulent boundaries." Karen's for sale sign went up the next morning. Neighbors who once shunned me started waving again. Some even looked embarrassed. I invited the kids on the block to swim that weekend. Their laughter echoed across the water like freedom finally breathing. Karen drove past once. Windows up. I strayed ahead. She didn't wave. I stood at the new brass gate my dad would have loved and clicked the lock shut. The engraving simply read, "Private property. Public respect." It wasn't revenge. It was correction. See, in America we love to pretend little clubs with fancy rules keep us safe. But hand a Karen a clipboard and suddenly she thinks she's above the law. She forgot one simple truth. Real power doesn't come from bylaws or drones. It comes from knowing exactly where your fence ends and having the guts to defend it. I sat by the pool that night watching the sunset paint the water gold. The same water my father poured with his own calloused hands. No more letters. No more buzzing cameras.
Just peace.
The kind you earn, not the kind they try to sell you. If you've ever fought a petty tyrant hiding behind community standards, drop your story below. You're not alone. And remember, sometimes the sweetest justice isn't loud. It's just the quiet sound of a gate finally staying shut.